what happens next?
No.
We're going to have this grievance process that's going to take a long time. It's not going to be quick. My guess is probably 6 weeks or 2 months before we hear anything, even if they try and expedite it. And then in the meantime, does someone step up and try and sign Evander Kane? I think everyone thought Evander Kane would probably resume his career at some point after a buyout this summer. But the fact that it happened so quickly, the fact that there's more alleged transgressions, certainly doesn't help his playing career in terms of, does some team now, after you've given, you were put on full alert in September and August, to then now break the rules again and put yourself in a position where your contract's been terminated. Was anyone going to take a chance?
Well, my question is, technically, from what I understand, he could sign with another team before the arbitrator rules.
Of course.
Right. So,
because the best case scenario, I think, it's not that his contract is reinstated. I don't think that's even a possibility.
No.
I think his best case is that he gets a settlement like Mike Richards did.
100%. Yes.
So therefore, why would it restrict anyone from signing it?
So
as of this moment, he is a full-fledged unrestricted free agent eligible to be signed for the league minimum or whatever it is.
So when we talk, like, there's almost like two Evander Kanes here. There's the Evander Kane on the ice, but then there's the Evander Kane off the ice. And the issues are all off of the ice. When he played last season in San Jose, he was their best player. It really wasn't close by any standard. So when you look at a 30-goal scoring power forward who can skate, who's also one of the toughest players in the NHL when push comes to shove, there's just not many on-ice players like Evander Kane. Do you feel there's NHL? Because I'll tell you right now, Frank, I had 3 text messages from teams, saying, hey, what do you know about Evander Kane over the weekend? It makes me believe teams are at least going to be kicking tires here to say, is this worth it?
They'd be dumb not to. Given what you just said, they'd be dumb not to do their own investigation. Because I think the truth of it always is there's 3 sides. There's the team side, there's Kane's side, and then there's the truth. And in this case, we don't know what that is yet. We don't have any sort of idea of where that might be trending. How steady was the ground that the San Jose Sharks decided to stand on when they pulled the plug on the contract? I think Evander Kane will get a job in the NHL again. Will it be before March 21st? That's my question.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Like anything, a little bit of time away, people have more time to think. They wonder.
I thought the summer would be perfect. You get the buyout, you collect your money, and you move on.
Well, if indeed he ends up with nothing financially from this, like if I take a step back,
it'll be the most expensive trip he's ever taken.
Well, I try to look at the human element of Evander Kane. And Frank, when you consider when you went through it all, he was paying homes for his grandparents. Like there was a lot of people in his house, in his family circle that he was basically, financially supporting. So there's a lot of pressure there when we look at it from a human element.
That's why I said disappointing to a lot of people, not just financially, disappointing to Evander Kane, another hit to his reputation, disappointing to his family, disappointing to all the people that he supports, including his kid.
Yeah, well, his kids for sure. Like, if you're supporting all your parents and your grandparents, we might have a whole different conversation. If that's fair for him, does he have to shoulder all that? Should they not be taking care of themselves? It's a conversation for a different day. But I look at him and say, man, to see that it fell apart like this now, and there's still the pending bankruptcy factor that you wonder just how much stress there'd be in his life. Now, maybe this is the final thing where all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is serious, man. I really screwed up. But
why did it take to this point?
Well,
there's been other warnings that he's gone through already, right? Like his trade from Winnipeg was one. He gets to San Jose through Buffalo and has this fresh start and signs this massive contract.
Mm-hmm.
How many times and then to go through all of this, to go through the 2 investigations, then the 21-game suspension that cost him $1.75 million. How many more chances, how many more tries before you finally say, you know what, I'm going to play this straight. I'm going to follow every rule humanly possible. I am going to make sure that I am clean as a whistle.
Yeah. Well, you look historically from a lot of humans and until they hit rock bottom, they continue to make the same mistakes. And maybe this is it for him, Frank. Like
Well,
this
I
is
was just saying,
different
how are any of those previous things not rock bottom? For
because
most people, they would be.
because probably he still had the contract. Right now, he doesn't have a contract. Like that's 28 million potentially out the window for nothing. So maybe I don't know. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm just talking like that's a pretty significant one. And I'll say
But
this:
when we talk about it, not and I want to make sure again we're being fair to Evander Kane. That's the exact conversation teams are going to be having. Why didn't you get this in August or September? Why did it take you to be hit over the head again and in a much bigger way for you to get it?